Hi everyone, welcome back. If you are new, I'm glad you're here. Hi, I'm Jody, and today's video is a Friday face-off video, even though I'm releasing it a couple days later because it was a holiday weekend and I knew you guys weren't gonna be around watching videos on Friday, so I thought I'd wait till after your Canada Day and 4th of July celebrations and release it today when you're probably just trying to nurse any sunburns that you might have got because it was so hot this weekend and just relaxing from a fun holiday weekend. Why not check out a video? And this video is, as I mentioned, it's a Friday face-off and it's a concealer face-off, which is one of my favorites to do. And today's concealers are one of my favorites, but a new one. I love the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, as I shared with you guys in a beauty news update. And if you're not following me on Instagram or TikTok, you'll want to do that because that's where I give you the most beauty news updates, several throughout the week. Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer is a brand new concealer on the market, and I had to try it because this used to be the Holy Grail for me for years until my eyes started to get too wrinkly, then it's a little too thick. So a thinner version of the Creaseless Concealer sounds like an amazing product to me. So which concealer will be in the face-off up against this new Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer? I had to put up one of the best, Haus Labs TriClone Concealer. This is a hydrating concealer. It's done very well in Friday face-offs before. So if you're ready, let's apply these concealers. We'll do a full review and then I will do the rest of my makeup with you and then we'll do an 8-hour wear test and see which one holds up in this extreme heat on these extremely old eyes. Let's do it. All right, so let's get into these two concealers. This new Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer comes in 30 shades and is said to be long lasting, and it is said to be crease proof. One of the things that I thought was interesting is the shade ranges don't exactly line up. This one is 16N and it's the second color in the color chart when you go from light to dark. So 16N, and I used 15N in the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and it is not available in this new one. And you can see the difference in the color between the two. So here's 15N in the Creaseless, here's 16N in the Creaseless Creamy. So definitely a lighter range. I do like this new color better because it's less warm. However, I have some discoloration, so a little bit of that peachy tone would be nice to have. Either way, we're gonna see how it works. This has been a holy grail of mine forever until I started to get more wrinkles in the under eye area, and then I noticed it just was too thick. But I liked it up to the extra wrinkly portion of my face happened because of how thick it was. It was a really nice coverage. It lasted all day. I didn't need to set it with powder, and it was a brightener and a color corrector in one. So I don't have the highest hopes for this one in terms of the coverage and the long-lasting brightening, but we're gonna get into it and see. This one is cruelty-free, it's vegan, it's medium coverage, it's natural finish, and it's in a liquid formula. It comes in your standard doe foot applicator. What I thought was interesting about this concealer is only one place in the description did it say that this was hydrating. So that's a little concerning for those of us with more mature under eyes that tend to be dry. Now, if you have more oily under eye area, then not adding extra hydration isn't always a bad thing because then you don't get that slippage. You don't tend to get the transfer from your mascara into that concealer area. So it may not be a terrible thing. I'm gonna go in with the BK Beauty's Angie Hot and Flashy A506 concealer brush. This is by far my favorite concealer brush. So much so that I think I have 3 of them, one in the studio, one in my makeup room where I get ready every day when I'm not filming, and then one in my travel case because I don't ever want to be without it. And I'll link this down below, but this is the A506 concealer brush. What I like about it is this angle really allows me to get right inside the inner corner of my eye where you can see I tend to be pretty purple. So it gets in and covers all of the areas that I need coverage. It blends the product out really nicely. Now when it's concealer, I like to go back in with my fingers and just warm up that concealer a little bit more and press it into any fine lines and wrinkles that I have. So going back to the shade range, if you used to wear that creaseless concealer and you are gonna switch to the Creaseless Creamy, you'll most likely wanna go into a store where they have the testers and swatch it from your old shade to your new shade. I wish they would have kept the shades the same. Maybe they got some feedback that the shade range needed to be different. If that's the case, then that's awesome. It wasn't hard to switch. In fact, I think I like this new color a little bit better. Just from one application, you can see it does provide medium coverage like it says. It does look a little bit brighter than the eye that I don't have any concealer on. And I like the natural finish to it. I would probably go back in with just a little bit more, brighten up just right through here and a little bit up this way. That's probably more than I would normally use, but we can blend it out with this brush, no worries. And my nose is kind of narrow and thin, and I don't love that, so I like to go and add a little bit of that concealer on the bridge of my nose just to make it appear a little wider. I like the finished look. I'm not gonna set either of these with a powder so that we can see how they perform without powder. I do have just a little bit of eye cream or eye serum on underneath my eyes. I should have said that in the beginning. It's really absorbed now into my skin, so there shouldn't be any interaction with any serums. It is just a beautiful looking concealer. All right, now let's go to the Haus Labs. We know how this one is going to perform. This is $32 and comes in 31 shades. The doe foot applicator is a little bit bigger than the Tarte. That was one of the things that was a downside for me for this concealer, but it was one of the only downsides to this. As I said, this comes in 31 shades. It is also cruelty-free, vegan, natural finish, medium coverage. Pretty much the exact same lineup, offers a brightening effect, and this one also offers hydration. When it comes to concealer, I typically like to put it on the back of my hand and then a brush. I feel like I can control the amount of concealer better that way, unless I've done a coat and I need just a lot more like I just did on that side. But for the most part, I like doing it this way because I feel like I can control the amount. And when you don't get too thick, you know, obviously as we age, less is more. And that is the case with this concealer. I mean, this concealer is gonna be tough to beat. It just goes on flawlessly. It's really natural, it's pretty. It builds up nicely for those days where you need extra coverage, and it covers everything. So that is what that one looks like. Again, really pretty. Going into summer, one of the things that I've enjoyed doing is using my concealer as an eyeshadow base or just a base for my look. So I'm gonna go in now and put these two on top of my eyelids just so I can neutralize any colors. I'm gonna do my eyes with you guys today so we can just get a final look of how both of these concealers hold up as an eyeshadow base. And as I said, I'll do a wear test in about, let's do 8 hours because it is super hot out. So it would be nice to see how these hold up in heat, extreme heat, I would say. I think it's gonna be 98 here today, and many parts of the country are gonna be in the hundreds today. So I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. I just wanna see how well these concealers hold up to the heat. Well, that's what the two concealers look like, one coat, side by side. Both look really pretty. The question's gonna be how well do they hold up under extreme heat. Let me just finish up my look while I have you guys here so we can spend more time together. I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush. This is the Dual Blush by Hourglass. I'm gonna go into that Chanel palette that I've been loving that has the bronze, the highlight, and the blush. And just gonna really quickly go over and just give it a nice summer glow. Again, I'm not gonna set that concealer with a powder today. I have loved this. It is $95. I have it in medium coral. So that's a high price point, but I have to say it's the only thing I've been wearing on my face pretty much since I got it. And I wear it for eyeshadow and blush as well as all over. And now that I've done my face, I'm gonna go in with that little bit of bronze and go up and create a little bit of a crease just ever so lightly. Now that my eyes are continuing to have these droopy eyelids, I like to put a little bit of bronze or shadow on the underside of that droop just to help pull back that look a little bit and make it less of a droop forward. Just creating a little bit of shadow there pulls the bottom part of that droop up and back a little bit, giving a natural lift to the eye. Well, as natural as eyeshadow can be, or bronzer. As I'm adding bronzing powder to these concealers, they're both working nice as a base. The bronze powder is blending out nice, it's smooth. The concealer isn't bunching up that powder. It's just a nice flawless base for that powder product. All right, now I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of shimmer. This is Kiss of Climb by MAC. I'm gonna put it right in the center of my eye. Eyelash to crease, corner to corner. Real simple. Putting that product right on the tip of the brush. I can't wink with this eye, so I'm gonna have to do it this way. Now I'm gonna grab a small smudging brush. This one's by Real Techniques. I'm gonna go back into that bronze, add a little bit of definition to my lower lash line, just so I can carve out the shape of my eye. And I'm gonna grab a thin fan brush. This is also by Real Techniques. And I'm just gonna go into that blush and just really lightly put it on the high points of my cheek. All right, and because this is a summer look, I'm gonna add a little bit of a brown eyeliner. And I'm only bringing this eyeliner in about 1/3 of the way on my eye because I don't want a full eyeliner look. I just want to add a little bit of definition to my eye. Then I'll go into my waterline and really push that color up into the base of the lashes. And that I'll bring all the way to where my lashes stop. And to add to this summer look, I just want to take that mascara on the outer half of my lashes, going in really close to the base of my lashes and coating this outer corner. Okay, so there's the final look for today. Both of these concealers look really nice right from the onset of application. There's no creasing on either side. And as an eyeshadow base, they work just as well. I don't see any creasing on one side versus the other. I do think that the Haus Labs might have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to being an eyeshadow base, simply because it is so hydrating. It has hyaluronic acid as well as niacinamide in it. So it might be a little bit too slippery, especially if you tend to have oily eyelids. So we'll see how well it holds up. Again, that's not what they market this product as. It's really more of that concealer. And as far as the concealer, it is holding up nicely. So remember, this is the Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer, and here is the Haus Labs TriClone Concealer. And this is what it looks like upon fresh application. Okay, let me pull myself together here so that it doesn't look like it's been 8 hours, but it has, and it's been 8 hours of summer fun and heat, a lot of heat. So let's zoom you guys in and take a look at how these two concealers held up. I mean, when I look at them and understand that they have been on for 8 hours without a setting powder, I am really impressed with both of them. I would say that the coverage is still good. There's still, I would say, medium coverage on both sides. I don't feel any accentuated fine lines or wrinkles under either side of them. I do feel like they both settled into the fine lines and wrinkles equally. I don't feel like one side has settled more than the other. I mean, there's wrinkles there. Of course, the product in heat is going to get warm and melt into fine lines and wrinkles. I wouldn't expect anything different. I certainly don't hold it against either of these two concealers for their performance under extreme heat conditions. In terms of the eyelid primer, and again, they don't claim to be eyelid primers, but why not have a 2-for-1 if you can? I think they're both fine. The shadow didn't settle on one side more than the other. So if you like to use your concealer for more than just concealer and you like to put it, you know, why not just be able to whip it right around on your eyelid and use it as an eyeshadow primer? I think that's great. And some days I don't like to wear eyeshadow at all, and I do like the look of a concealer on the eyelid with just a little dusting of powder. I think that's a really beautiful, natural look. I mean, it's not natural, but it looks natural. So which one is the winner of the Friday Face Off? Here's what I would say. It's going to depend on the type of skin that you have. If you like a medium coverage, natural finish concealer that gives you a little bit of brightening effect and lasts for hours without having to add a setting powder, if you have dry under eye areas, I think this Haus Labs by Lady Gaga is a fantastic choice because it has hyaluronic acid and niacinamide, so you are hydrating those already dry skin areas under your eye. However, that might be too emollient for someone that has more oily skin. If you have oily skin and you don't want to add extra serum or hydration to that under eye area, and I know many of you are in that situation, then this Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer would be my new go-to. I am medium to dry under eyes, so I'm in that place right now where I could go with either, and I probably would. I would pick up either one of these and be very happy with how they worked. As I get older and my skin becomes more dry, I do like to add extra hydration, so I would reach for this one. But again, if you've got oily skin and you don't want to add extra hydration because of that slippage that can happen, I think you'd be really happy with this Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer. Hands down. It's beautiful coverage, it doesn't look cakey, and if you are excessively oil, I think a light dusting of powder would probably be fine. I would just go really light-handed. So they're both a winner. Dry under eye area, I'd go with the Haus Labs by Lady Gaga TriClone Concealer. If you're oily, I think you'd be really happy with this new Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer. I'll leave both of these in the description box below. Just a reminder, I used 16 in the Tarte Concealer, and I used 12 Light Rosy in the Haus Labs by Lady Gaga, in case your skin tone is similar to mine. Well, that does it for me today, you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Stay beautiful, stay healthy, wear lots of sunscreen if you're outside, and I'll see you in just a couple days. Bye-bye.